With the ending of the Neo Egoist League, Isagi and fellow Bulakians are now getting ready for the U20 World Cup, and then after that most likely playing for each of the clubs that bidded for them. But what if clubs from the Premier League's most prestigious teams were to bid for them? Where would these players go, and do they even have a chance of starting? In this video, I will be talking about the teams each player would hypothetically go to if they were only brought by the top Premier League teams. For the sake of this video, I will be only doing the traditional top 6 of the Premier League, which includes Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea and Tottenham. Each team will only be able to have 4 players, so a total of 24 Blue Lock players will be shown. There are 21 actual Blue Lock players in this list, the 2 new Gen 11 players shown in the Neo Egoist League, Don Lorenzo and Kaiser, as well as Charles. Also, I will be assigning each player the team based on these certain conditions: the playstyle of the manager in charge of the team at the moment, the team's legacy and culture, their performance this season, as well as whether the assigned players will be able to cooperate with each other. Also, just a disclaimer, although I will be using a lot of real life players to assign players to the team, these players will be playing in Blue Locks first, where these players may not even exist. Let's start off with our main goalkeeper who we all love, Gagamaru. This guy has been a phenomenal goalkeeper considering the fact that he has only been playing this position for a couple months. He's obviously far from the perfect keeper, but as time goes by and he gains more experience, he could definitely be world class. Out of the top 6, the team that could probably use someone fresh in the nets is Chelsea. Chelsea has struggled with the goalkeeping this season. I'm not going to name any names, but Chelsea's goalkeeper has the joint most errors leading to goals in the 24-25 Premier League season. Enzo Maresca's Chelsea uses a sweeper keeper in the tactics, which allows the goalkeeper to be included in the game and in build-up play. With experience, I could definitely see Gagamaru being that type of goalkeeper for Chelsea. I don't think he's going to be a keeper that would start right away, but instead he would be loaned out, get some game time and improve. Then maybe in the future he would be Chelsea's starting goalkeeper in Blue Locks first, blocking shots from his fellow Blue Lock strikers. On that topic of strikers, there is this one team that probably needs an attacking threat in their team. In the Premier League, they have failed multiple times to convert chances into any end product. That team is Manchester United. Man United has not had the best of seasons, having the second to last lowest goals scored in the entire league outside of relegation teams, and currently the least goals scored in the top 6 by a whopping 20 goals. It is without a doubt that they need a prominent, strong striker. That player who could fill this role is without a doubt Shoei Barrow.
I'm telling you that you better not get in our way, donkey.
Barrow is a clinical and predictable striker who can make 0 into 1 out of almost nothing sometimes. Man United is a team who currently has one of the youngest starting lineups in the Premier League, so Barrow's chances of getting game time would be very high, and I'm sure he would love that. They have multiple young players over the years that have become starting players in a season or two, like Kobe Mino and Garnacho, and I think Barrow could be one of those. Also, Barrow's entire King Lion persona fits the Red Devils, and honestly, he would look so fire in their kit. Let's move on to another team who have struggled even more than Man United in the Premier League this season. That team is none other than Tottenham. By looking at the Premier League table, one can see that Tottenham has performed the worst in the league outside of relegation teams, currently at the time of making this video being 16th in the Premier League. However, a big reason for this has been injuries. If you look at past years, Tottenham are not really the team to buy big talents like the other big 6. They're more of a team that would buy underrated stars, and for that reason, I won't be putting anyone in the current top 5 onto Tottenham's team. And I honestly think they would not go there because they would want to win trophies. In order to add more depth into their defense, I could see Tottenham buying one of Blue Lock's best defenders, Ayew. Ayew is a tall, strong player who uses his height and long limbs to stop attacks and set pieces, which Tottenham have conceded a large amount of their goals to. Ayew could provide that need for the depth in Tottenham's defense while also using his long limbs as an attacking threat in set piece plays. Ange Postecoglou is the manager of Tottenham, who frequently uses inverted fullbacks in central positions to create a central overload, allowing for more possession in the midfield. These fullbacks are normally pacey, like Udogie. Ange also loves using pacey wingers who can run past defenders into open space. One player that can fulfill both of these roles is Zantetsu. Zantetsu's fast acceleration to top speed is by far his best weapon, and the widths of the field would be the perfect place for it. Zantetsu's other stats like defense, shooting and passing, which are all A grade, makes him an all-rounded player, allowing him to be versatile around the field. This is why I believe that although he may be decent in the winger position, I think he would work best in the inverted fullback position, using his acceleration to explode to open spaces when attacking or to intercept attacks before they go into full play. I don't see him as a player to start right away or anytime soon in the team, but as another option if the injury crisis permits. There's another speedster who would fit perfectly into this team, and I think we all know who I'm talking about. That person is Shigiri. Postecoglou would look to continue his tradition of playing fast wingers in Tottenham by buying Shaqiri. Shaqiri is the fastest and also one of the best players in Blue Lock, finishing just outside the final top 5 rankings. Although it may seem like it to some people, Shaqiri is far from a speed merchant. He has great dribbling and shooting skills and is a very hard player to defend against. He's one of those players who can create goals out of nothing with his speed. Shaqiri would sort of play the role that Heung-min Son has played at Tottenham in the past years, but more as a direct winger than an inverted winger. In contrast to Shaqiri, I think Yuki Maya would be better as an inverted winger. Arne Slot, the manager of Liverpool, loves using inverted wingers, and I think Yuki Maya would be on his list with his amazing skill set. Yuki Maya is one of the best dribblers in Blue Lock, being able to almost take anyone one-on-one. As an inverted winger, he can use his dribbling to cut in and shoot his signature gyro shot that can make him a problem for defenders and goalkeepers. I sort of see him as a Luis Diaz type of player with his amazing dribbling. Since we're already talking about wide players, there's another player that mainly plays wide who I also want to bring up. That player is Otoya. Otoya is one of Blue Lock's fairly top players, ranking 9th at the end of the NEL. His main attribute is his speed and offensive ability, and his main weapon is his off-the-ball movements, which he uses to get into spaces and beyond defenders stealthily. Otoya played as both a right winger and right back for Barca, but I think he best suits the poacher forward or shadow striker playstyle. A manager who loves to use both of these types of playstyles in his forwards is Mikel Arteta, the current manager of Arsenal. Arteta has used forwards like Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz who have the poacher and shadow striker playstyle respectively in his system, and Otoya could fill that role as well. On the topic of strikers, there are 2 prolific strikers who I believe will join the same team in the Prem, and that team is Man City. One of these strikers could be argued to be one of, or if not, the best pure striker in Blue Lock, with goals like none other. And the other is a strategical genius who has an insane knack for goals, and an even crazier shot. A team like Man City is known for buying young, talented players who have just begun to blossom into their true potential and elevates them to even greater heights. These 2 players are both considered geniuses and prominent goal scorers in their teams, and they would fit perfectly in Pep Guardiola's Man City. These 2 are Kaiser and Shido. Now I know many people may be thinking a duo like that with such strong personalities will not work out, but Rin and Shido were able to work together because they couldn't win alone. And because of that, I think Kaiser and Shido could definitely work out, especially since it would be an actual professional league and the real managers and the opponents would be a lot harder. Pep Guardiola has fallen in love with using the physical and explosive goal machine Haaland, and in Blue Lock's verse, I think Shido could play that role. Kaiser on the other hand would be the second striker, having more of a centre forward role who drops deeper into the midfield to make plays. Kaiser reminds me a lot of Müller due to his versatility and thinking, and Pep in the Blue Lock's verse may use him as that type of versatile player who's not only a forward, but maybe even an attacking midfielder at times when needed. Guardiola plays a possession-based type of football where the midfield is often dominated by his players and create chances for the attackers. However, this season Man City has not been as dominating in the midfield both offensively and defensively as they were in previous seasons, which has caused them to lose many games. Because of this, they may look to buy some more midfielders as well. Mikage Rio is one of those who I think Man City may go for due to his versatility and also because he's already a Man City player in the NEL. Rio is an all-rounded midfielder who is known for his copying abilities on other players. He's a smart player who can provide both offensively and defensively in the midfield, which Man City need. The other player who could contribute greatly to Man City, especially offensively, is Hiyori. Hiyori is a player whose main attribute is his vision, ball control and passing, making him an outstanding playmaker. Having a player like that in the midfield coupled with Rio can achieve the goal of midfield domination that Pep Guardiola wants for his team. I see these 2 players playing primarily in the midfield, either as a centre mid or as an attacking midfielder for Hiyori and a defensive midfielder for Rio, but this is not what they are only limited to. With their skill sets, I can see Rio playing other positions like centre back and even fullbacks, and Hiyori playing fullback when they are needed in these positions. Man United is a team that is experiencing the same lack of midfield dominance as Man City, so they will also be in line to snatch some midfielders, more specifically central defensive midfielders or CDMs, as that's where they're lacking right now. First, I think they'd want to buy, in my opinion, the best CDM in Blue Lock, Karasu. His ability to analyze the field, hold up play, intercept and make plays with his great passing makes him the perfect fit for that role. The other defensive midfielder would be Nico. Nico is another high IQ player who has exceptional spatial awareness and ability to control the flow of the game. These 2 intellectual players provide a deadly duo for Man United's midfield. both defensively and offensively, and would be a great addition to their team. Arsenal, on the other hand, has excelled greatly in their midfield, both defensively and offensively, having one of the best midfield combinations in the Prem this season. Arsenal will look to continue that with the signing of an amazing physically strong defensive midfielder and a youngster prodigy with amazing playmaking skills. Raichi would fulfill that CDM role. His use of his physicality and power to intercept plays and neutralize counterattacks makes him a perfect fit for Arsenal. He could help continue Arsenal's record of currently being the best defensive team in the entire Prem this season, having only conceded 33 goals so far. The young genius Charles would be the other addition to the team. This guy is an amazing player with exceptional pinpoint passes. He can sort of be the Martin Odegaard of Arsenal in the Blue Ox verse, as they are quite similar. One team that has excelled this season in the league is Liverpool. Arne Slot, in his first year of managing this team, has already taken them to the Premier League title. Some of the credit goes to Jurgen Klopp, the former Liverpool manager who left behind a really solid team, but Slot, with his tactics, has made this team a horror to play against. Slot regularly runs a 4-2-3-1 formation with players having lots of freedom, being allowed to rotate and interchange in positions when in possession. A big aspect of their success is their strong defense, having the second to least amount of goals considered in the entire Premier League, just being Arsenal. With this in mind, I don't think they would plan to buy any defender from Blue Lock in a rush. Instead, I see them looking for more attacking options. Liverpool is arguably one of the most exciting teams to watch this season, and one player who just loves playing soccer and will only pass the players he deems worthy and exciting is Bachira. Bachira is one of the best Blue Lock players, ranking 5th at the end of the Neo Egoist League. He is in my opinion the best dribbler in Blue Lock, and is amazing at passing and an overall great offensive player. As a Liverpool player, Bachira could fit so many different roles, but I think he would work best as a false 9 just like Messi, or an attacking midfielder or left winger, using his dribbling coupled with his passing to not only score goals but create chances for other players. Liverpool also does not have that much of a youngster squad compared to other teams like Chelsea or Man United. This means that any Blue Lock player who were bought by them would have to fight their way up to a starting position. There is one player that Liverpool would not think twice about buying, and knowing that Liverpool is the best team in England right now would be enough for that player to accept the breed, knowing that he could grow even more from the very best and under the very best teachings. That player is our main man, Isagi. Isagi time and time again has shown determination to tackle the best of the best head on, even though there is almost always a high chance of failure against them. We've seen this in him choosing to go against Rin, Aryu and Tokimitsu, who are the top 3 at the moment during the second selection, and then him going to Basel München to learn from the very best, Noel Noah. Isagi, who is now joint ranked 1st in Blue Lock, would be the type of player who I mainly see playing in the center forward or striker position and sometimes as an attacking midfielder, but he definitely is not limited to only this. In Arne Slot's system that allows for players to have so much freedom in the field, I see Isagi as one of those players who is everywhere, having full awareness and control of the field. Also, a big plus is he would have probably the best partner possible with him, Bachira. Imagine Isagi and Bachira, 2 academy boys from Blue Lock, dominating the Prem 5 or 10 years later in their primes. I don't think they're going to be permanent starters right away, but with time, Isagi's adaptability to grow into any environment and Bachira's awe and excitement for soccer would allow them to potentially be permanent starters in a couple seasons in the Blue Lock first. Since we've talked about Isagi, I think it's right we talk about his rival Itoshi Rin. Itoshi Rin is the joint number 1 player in the NEL with Isagi. This guy does not need an introduction because we all know who he is. This guy is good at almost every aspect of the sport. Amazing shooting with his insane finesse shot, exceptional dribbling, spatial awareness and analytical skills that is rivaled only to a few and so many more feats. His ability to manipulate the game makes him a dangerous opponent and a great ally. Rin is the type of player who can be everywhere on the field, so he would need a manager that allows him to have freedom off and on the ball. These could have either been Pep, Arne Slot or Maresca. Out of these 3, I think Rin would go to Maresca's Chelsea for one reason. Out of the 3 teams, Chelsea has the youngest starting squad. I believe as long as Rin gets to play, allowing him to work towards the goal of beating his brother and becoming the best striker in the world, he is satisfied. Chelsea is probably the most likely out of these 3 teams to provide Rin with the most amount of minutes, especially in his first couple seasons. Rin would initially play in the center forward, cam or left wing role depending on how competitive it is among starting players, but ultimately I think he will play best as a center forward for Chelsea with freedom to drop deep into midfield at times similar to Isagi. I also think Chelsea will look to buy another player who I think is still a prominent striker. This one might be controversial, especially since many people think he has fallen off, but that player is Nagi. I know he was eliminated, but I don't think anyone wants to hear me talk about what team Nanase would sit on the bench in over talking about a team that Nagi might actually start in. In my opinion, Ego Loki sabotaged Nagi. Like, you can't tell me that this man was not smirking deviously under that hand when explaining why Nagi got eliminated over Nanase, who won't ever probably get any game time for the rest of the series. But going back on track, Nagy would be a great addition to Chelsea's team. It would be such a steal for them to get a player with such low market value and with a generational talent like that. I can see Nagy playing as a poacher for Chelsea with his current skill level. However, with the direction that the show is going, and I promise that this is not delusional, I think Nagy will have a comeback, which will cause him to take into consideration what Agi said and train to be more creative on his own. If Nagy achieves this newfound creativity, I can see him not only being an even better goal scorer, but also a creative playmaker for the team in a calm position. To finish up all the defenders on the list, I want to talk about Oliver Aiku and Don Lorenzo. First, we will talk about Oliver Aiku, the best defender in the entire Blue Lock program, besides the new Gen 11 players. This guy is a physical beast who has no metavision, so he is able to analyze, predict, and intercept plays with his quick reaction and strength. He's not only a great centre back, but his good passing, control of the ball, and previous experience as a striker makes him a great centre back to have in build-up play. And lo and behold, Enzo Maresca's Chelsea is a team that loves to play from the back using their centre backs and goalkeepers. Chelsea is also a team that has struggled defensively at times in the past couple seasons, so having a solid defender like Aiku in the back could contribute greatly to that defensive void. Moving on to our next defender, Don Lorenzo. This guy is one of the new Gen 11 and is the best defender we've seen so far in the entire manga. He's a defender unlike any other, with out of this world defensive and dribbling ability. With his dribbling and ball holding ability, he fits the perfect definition of a ball playing centre back. I believe Lorenzo would go to whichever team gives him the highest offer, and I think Manchester United will be that team. Manchester United have struggled in defense, midfield and attack, so basically in every part of the field, and Lorenzo could contribute in all aspects. With that in mind, Man United would definitely have him as a top priority on their list and be willing to spend big on him. Don Lorenzo can elevate the defense to new levels while also providing support to midfield areas and the attack by creating chances and running up with the ball. And having Nico and Barrow, who Lorenzo has already played with on Ubers, allows for a better chemistry within the team. There are two other players who I don't necessarily think are going to be starting players at all throughout the times in their assigned team, but I do think they would be a solid substitute, playing the supporting role. The first is Corona, who I have assigned to Liverpool. He's a fast player who has quick turns and is amazing in 1-2 plays, sort of like a tiki-taka player. With the freedom that Arnstad allows on the field, I see Corona as that player who can provide assistance everywhere on the field in bringing the ball up. His main position would be an inverted right back, mainly helping in the midfield and creating chances. Sendo is the next player who would go to Tottenham. Sendo is not really great at anything, but he's also not really bad at anything. With his skill set, I see him as a substitute calm playmaker for Tottenham. Last but not least, we have Kunigami. This guy is strong and physical, which helps him fend off defenders and has a great mid-range shot. I see him going to a team like Arsenal, which is a team that has big focus on strength and physicality, especially when defending. I see him as a striker for Arsenal, but with his long-range shooting and amazing strength on the ball, I wouldn't be surprised if he was converted to a CDM, especially in Arsenal's system. However, he does lack defensive capabilities that a CDM requires. This comes to the end of our list, and just to go over, on Man City we have Hiyori, Shido, Kaiser and Rio. On Liverpool we have Isagi, Bachira, Corona and Yukimaya. On Tottenham we have Kunigami, Sendo, Shigiri and Aryu. On Man United we have Barrow, Karasu, Nico and Lorenzo. Arsenal with Charles, Otoya, Raichi and Kunigami, and Chelsea with Nagy, Rin, Aiku and Gagamaru. This comes to the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think of this list in the comments, and also let me know what other topics in Blue Lock and other anime or shows you'd like me to talk about. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you like and subscribe, and see you in the next one.